I'm going to play a little thing from what somebody says Duppy Cabinet. I go and play a little thing, and then we go and talk a little bit more on it.
Is it a shadow or Duppy? Political commentator Dr. Paul Ashley believes the reshuffled shadow cabinet will be just as ineffective as the previous list of opposition spokespersons. Opposition leader Mark Goldin said the appointment of the 25 spokespersons is to showcase the diverse talent and extensive skills within the PNP. The new shadow cabinet combines new faces with seasoned politicians. Among the new faces are Wavell Hines for Labour and Sports and Dr. Alfred Dawes for Health and Wellness. Dr. Ashley told our news centre the reshuffling of the shadow cabinet has done nothing to strengthen the appeal of the opposition PNP.
The new shadow cabinet. I think that politically and socially, we have to make a distinction between shadow and Duppy. I don't think this is a new shadow cabinet replacing the old shadow, because it seems to me I can't recall anything done by the old shadow, and I don't think that the individuals now named to have some exposure before the next election. I can't understand the basis on which they have been named, but I guess it depends. You have to deal with the cards you have. But more shadow. I think we need more from the shadow than just being a mere shadow. And the announcements by themselves don't make any sense to me, because the Jamaican populace would like to hear from the individuals who have been assigned the shadow cabinet. We have not heard much from all previous shadows, and this one, from the looks of it, will seem to be no different.
Meanwhile, political commentator and former PNP MP Lloyd B. Smith believes opposition leader Mark Goldin had a difficult set of options to choose from.
In the very fine analysis, his deck of cards is a very limited one, both in terms of expertise, substance, and of course political representation, and not to mention experience. So overall, I would give him a B for trying hard to come up with a new look slate of spokesperson. Hopefully this bunch will do a far better job than the one before, which was basically a non-starter.
Never leave your wife in bed without reaching the final moments again. This is capable of making your member hard and big as a steel bar. And you know what's better? This works regardless of your age, medical condition, or the severity of the problem. In fact, according to the testimonials we've received.
You know, I want to say, Paul Ashley, you're in no position to look at anyone and call them Duppy. But I want to ask you tonight, favor and look more Duppy to Uno. I don't lie me and tell. She look like the things that were coming at Game of Thrones. When the White Walkers, I saw it did be. The White Walkers them raise up in a Game of Thrones. And when it's so, I saw favor look. But it's not a shadow. It's more a Duppy cabinet. No, I'm not going to take that. Because there is good in the shadow cabinet. There is good in the shadow cabinet. But there is a lot of inexperience in the shadow cabinet. Let me repeat that. There is good in the shadow cabinet, but there is a lot of inexperience in the shadow cabinet. What I believe, though, that would have been good is if we had had proper training for these cabinet ministers so that they can be good and effective in responding to the situation at hand. What's your take on the matter? I believe that proper training of these members need to be done. But You cannot go to war with an inexperienced team. Is who is calling me? Hello, good night.
Hello, sir.
Yes, good night.
Good night. I want to grab a favor. I understand that they were harassing the Prime Minister in Montego Bay. You have the video put through?
The video showed already, Mr. Aaron.
You could bring back at it for a second. I'm appealing because I'm just coming from work and turn the TV on because there's a watch your program.
All right. Before the program finish, I put it on back, right?
They did sit down and wait for it before it goes.
All right. No problem. But I'm going to say again, the Jamaica Labour Party have some strong personalities as ministers. What you need is the best of the best, the thinnest of the thinnest to come after them. So I'm going to say to Jamaica tonight, if you agree with me, Mark Goldin never needed to raise that hell of a balloon 26-member cabinet. He could have made half of them junior spokespersons. Because one, many of them don't sit in Parliament and they don't sit in the Senate. They don't sit in Parliament and they don't sit in the Senate. How then are they going to be effective as spokespersons? I want to ask again. They don't sit in the Senate and they don't sit in the Parliament. How then are they going to be effective spokespersons? How often are they going to be calling their press conferences? How often? I want Mark Goldin to answer to that. But I heard him defending his shadow cabinet. I'm going to say to him, defend all you want, Mr. Goldin. But if in another 6 weeks they're doing no work, remember that I'm going to be your worst nightmare. Let me remind you, I hear you defending that they will be this and they will be doing that. I'm giving them 6 weeks. Is 6 weeks fair enough, Jamaica? Is 6 weeks fair enough to give them to prove themselves?
Yes.
In 6 weeks' time, if they don't prove themselves, we'll be responding to them. But Jamaica, government trained. Of course, bro got training people in parliamentary procedures and so forth. They were trained. But I am giving Mark Goldin's team 6 weeks.
Late February.
Is that fair enough? Is that fair enough, Jamaica? I am giving them 6 weeks. And after 6 weeks, if we don't start seeing the key performance indicators, I'm going to start calling them out.
One by one.
I'm going to start calling them out. So you know what I'm going to do, Jamaica? I'll be making invitations to the spokespersons on their different portfolios. That if when the issues come up in this country, they will get a chance to speak on the matter. Let me repeat that. I'll be extending this platform to invite them to come on the program to speak on the different issues. We're going to hold them to account.